Here's what we do. When the stomach is pulled up there, we need to start moving the esophagus. First, we check if there are any adhesions or not. We look right here between the ribs. How do we do it here? If we start pulling from here, we'll be pulling the top. Our task is to grasp the organ, so we take it like this, towards ourselves. You see, that's also a weak move, and now we can go deeper. So what are you focusing on? In other words, where your mind is, that's where the work happens. Where you focus, that's where you work, and you kind of start pulling the stomach back. And as you pull right here, listen, well, in her case it's fine, there are no adhesions. Because if there are adhesions between the esophagus and the rolling along the rib, they go here and will show up right here. So you'll always feel right here that as you pull, you'll get this sensation like it's twitching here, like that. That's why we start here you can feel gastritis, meaning the pyloric sphincter, which is slightly enlarged. It can be dealt with. Well, these gastritis issues are removed very easily and quickly. We take it and pull it towards ourselves again. Pulled and keep pulling. Her stomach walls are very dense. They should be more flexible. Here, it's from stress. And here we go. We work slowly and deliberately. Here, we are carefully working with the epigastric area, but she still has that very distinct and palpable pyloric sphincter. Can you feel it, perhaps, right there? It's very dense.
Yes, a lot settles there.
That's gastritis. So take a look at the anus. All sphincters are the same. It's a circular muscle, that is, a ring-shaped muscle. If it gets overfilled with blood, it starts to swell up like this. And as a result, an opening appears. So it doesn't perform its barrier function. Here we have an acidic environment, and below there's an alkaline environment. Well, remember your school lessons. If acid mixes in, a reaction occurs, meaning the reaction forms a salt. And salt is exactly the aggressive environment that causes ulcers. Therefore, to remove this excess blood, we need to pull and fixate it. So it's like we're stretching the sphincter, meaning we increase the lumen of the vessels, and the venous blood, this venous congestion, is released from there. The pylorus will become small and flexible again, and it will perform its barrier functions. But the fastest cell division happens precisely in the stomach. That's why recovery will proceed quickly there. If you do this several times, you'll be able to stretch your stomach almost down to your navel. In other words, you'll be able to work completely here. So now I've grabbed it and I'm holding it. Our task is to stretch the esophagus so it doesn't press against the diaphragm. The diaphragm is what makes the breathing movements. Inhale, exhale. 4 centimeters up, 4 down. And that's precisely why we need to effectively free up this crucial passage, because it's essentially a pump, a second vital pump, for efficiently moving venous blood from the bottom up.
How are you feeling?
It should move easily. So our esophagus, which is typically thick and short, now turns into a much thinner, significantly longer and more flexible one. And thanks to this flexibility, it moves aside. So it's not a rigid metal tube at all, but rather a freely moving and flexible tube.
Well, according to the anatomical structures.
No, I mean the direction of the hand itself.
Are you talking about the stomach?
Right now, is there direct and immediate tension, or does it subtly shift a little to the right or to the left?
But that doesn't matter.
Yes.
It moves freely. But again, keep the anatomy in mind. If the person is thin and tall, their stomach hangs like this. If they're built like a wardrobe, their stomach is like this. And in between there are intermediate types, so the position of the stomach can vary. There's just a little bit left on her pylorus. A slight point of tension. I'm just releasing it. But if someone touches her right here, you'll feel it exactly at the vertebral tracheal tube. When I pull it back, you'll feel that it also pulls back there.
Yes, I can feel it.
And once we've pulled it back, we can start working with the diaphragm. How do we work with the stomach? Painlessly. Look, here is her coastal arch. Step back 2 or 3 centimeters. Press down like this. That's it. There's a natural dip. Don't press any further. If you press more, it will hurt. Now you move the tissues toward this hand. Look, I move the tissues and the hand sinks in. And I start to gently smooth along the length. And smoothly, I will go in there. I will stroke the inner side of the diaphragm because we have removed the stomach, and now I can climb in here. There, look, I pressed. And now I'm giving fabrics, and my hand is sinking.
Yes.
This is painless. So, the guys who studied with Ogulov just presses and gathers everything to himself at this point instead of letting it move freely. They actually retrained with me to work without causing pain. Ogulov is a great guy. He created a lot of good things, but I saw that his techniques could be made painless. Then he will be priceless. And now I'm already completely covering the stomach. I'll start gently moving it back and forth. And thus we effectively put the beginning of the entire digestion process in proper order. Does it hurt when I work?
Nope.
And now I can't cope anymore.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Later, when we get the large intestine in order, I'll show you how to take care of the kidneys. Look, everything is gentle and careful. This is how the waist is adjusted. Once more. See, her peritoneum is already freed up. Before it would tighten just a little, but now look how much it tightens. So our task is to use this free movement of the peritoneum. The function of the greater omentum is being restored. The function of the lesser omentum is being restored. The lesser omentum is the gastrohepatic ligament. The transverse section of the large intestine is being restored. The function of the duodenum is being restored. The function of the pancreas is being restored. The function of the thoracoabdominal diaphragm. The mobility of the stomach is being restored. That is, I start to move it. Here, you can see what I am doing. The ribs are attached to the spine. It's like a door to its frame. When you open it, it rotates like this, it turns like this. Our task. You stand on the side of the shoulder, take the ribs, and move them toward the spine. If it's a woman, do not touch the chest in this way. With men, you use the entire area completely. This is how you pump it up. That is, so the ribs move like this. In other words, the costa vertebral joints are being freed. We are restoring this entire part.
What if there are some potential and serious heart problems or cardiac issues that could arise?
Here is the heart. This is how it is ruled. Then I will show you more points that instantly control the heart.
Heart attacks in general?
Heart attacks and heart spasms can occur.
Yes.
And this movement, you see, I'm already moving my ribs back and forth. To make it clearer for you, look. Here is the pelvis. The bones come together like this. What interests you is the rib of the bone. That is, the surface of the bone, the rib, and the internal structure. This structure is responsible for the heart. That is, a heart spasm. If a person isn't helped, they die. They urgently need something. Here, you can do it yourself. Both men and women have access to it. The heart immediately calms down. You don't touch the genitals themselves.
It turns out that
And it turns out that you are exactly where the bone is going.
Yes.
And here is the very border of the bone, and this same point removes cystitis. That is, you can put the bladder back in place when it descends, and inflammatory processes. This same point both eliminates cystitis and heals the heart.